It's time for us to look at stories that made it to the front pages of selected newspaper this morning. Now let's take a look, starting off with our own Daily Trust newspaper. Now boldly there in front for Daily Trust newspaper, it says CBN cash crunch. CBN finds 9 banks 1.35 billion naira. Now we had that story earlier today where we gave you the details of that story. Still there, war on Gaza, Israel to OK ceasefire deal. Now on the top left, Boko Haram burns churches and houses in Borno. We can't fight banditry with 20 armored personnel carriers, says Minister. And student leaders to get rice as Tinubu extends palliatives to SUGs. All right. Still on Daily Trust, ex-Sokoto Governor Bafara dumps PDP. And neglecting ex-soldiers dangerous to fight against insecurity, says Irabo. Vulcanizer sets lover ablaze during an argument in Abuja. Like Mr. Sunday will say, this thing called love. Those are the stories that are on the front pages of Daily Trust. Do well to grab yourself a copy and keep yourself informed.
All right, we'll move on to the Guardian newspaper this morning, and it's leading with the major story on Armed Forces Remembrance Day: better equipment, compensation, prosecution of terrorist tops agenda. 50 billion budget can't end insecurity, Matawale tells lawmakers. Police threatened litigation, demand apology from Amnesty International. Well, obedient movement faction exit won't affect Labour Party, says party chief. ASU opposes diversion of TED funds resource as reps push for tax reform. Seaport rehabilitation orders missing from 38.8 billion maritime allocation. And to the windows there, we have investors lose 1.1 trillion from sell-offs in 41 stocks. Rep panel fought 286 million allocation to 109 mission. Those are the major stories on the front page of The Guardian this morning.
Now let's take a look at Punch. Boldly there on top, actually. Opposition demands impeach Speaker's probe as GAC meets Lagos Assembly leaders. That's at the top. But boldly, Southwestern governors team up against ISWAP elements and bandits. Governors working on intelligence report as Southwest monarchs demand proactive step. Still there, court hears suits challenging Lagos Calabar highway contract, and Oni's ex-queen and others regained freedom after 21-day remand. We also have Nigeria earned 50 trillion from crude oil in 2024. And still on the tail of lovers, Ogun lovers wanted for allegedly killing the Chinese. Those are the stories we have on the front page of The Punch. Do well to grab yourself a copy to keep yourself informed.
All right, moving on to the Vanguard this morning. Underfunding, huge debt, root cause of power sector failure. The Guardian is looking at the power sector this morning. As supply falls below 4,000 megawatts, creates more hurdle for household businesses. NEC orders Fidelity Bank to divest. Power sector outlook gloomy. That's from the Center for Economics. And Power Consumers Assistance Fund is key. Power Up Nigeria says. To other stories on the front page, AI, decentralized electricity supply. Okonjo Iweala says Nigeria can't be left behind. I'm sure she's also talking about
grid failure.
The grid system we have. GAC meets endorses new Lagos Speaker Miranda. And marketers shift to the Dangote refinery as petrol depot price hits 950 per litre. And on sport, Pinnick missing 2026 World Cup would be a disaster for Nigeria. And I think it is within their power to change that.
True. All right, now joining us via Zoom to review some of the headlines on the pages of today's newspaper, we have Ben Shamang, former Director of News, Voice of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us. It's good to have you. All right, let's talk about the CBN fining 9 banks. The story we have that is leading on Daily Trust newspaper, where CBN fined 9 banks 1.35 billion naira. You know, it cuts across so many papers this morning for hoarding cash, especially during the Yuletide period. Do you think this is enough, especially, or should more be done, or should it be looked into beyond just finding the banks, or finding out where this cash that are circulating are actually going to? Because we're trying to turn the economy into a cashless economy, and still yet we have lots of cash being expected to go out. People are hoarding, and some people are, you know, having it excess at hand. What's your thoughts on, you know, this story this morning?
Yes, I think that it is nice that those banks are be sanctioned. And of course, the sanction has to go according to the limitation, what the law has stipulated that CBN should do. Because a situation where people want to go on holidays, they want to spend, you go all over POS sports. I mean, you can't get money even when you have in the bank. So what is that money doing in the bank? Look at when you had the Calabar Carnival, almost a whole month. You imagine the foreigners that came in, imagine the Nigerians that came in, they wanted to spend money, and you go to POS, you can't get money. So it is wrong monetary policy if you think you are doing some mopping of money that is in circulation by not releasing money to the public. It is wrong. So it is nice that the central bank brings its own hammer on the people, on the banks. You can imagine those who were in hospital that needed to pay for some bills. Imagine those who were to travel. Imagine those who, either by flight line or water. Imagine those who needed to just buy food. All of that frustrated. And what we have, wherever you see that money, the charges were so high, very, very high. By the time you're talking to these, I call them the hawkers of money, because they are busy selling money to buy. You use money to buy money. As they tell you, look, they also buy it very high in the banks. In other words, before they are given that money, they are charged higher. Therefore, as usual in Nigeria, the customer must bear the brunt. So it's good that the hammer is being brought on these banks. They have to pay. If there's a way they can even pay heavily or heavier, it should be applied.
All right, Mr. Ben, today it's an interesting day of note, I'm sure, for you, who spent the better part of your journalism practice covering the Defense Ministry. It's the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. So much has been said about their welfare, how we can make the life of living legends better, or honor the life of our fallen heroes. Different papers have taken that story from completely different platform. Irabo is also saying that it will be dangerous for us to neglect the welfare of our soldiers. What's your reaction to all of what has been said about today's event?
Yes, I will start from there. It is dangerous to neglect the welfare of our foreign heroes, those they left behind, those who have served and retired as at when due, those who felt they have to retire voluntarily to start some businesses, and the businesses are crumbling. You find many still paying rent. You find many in some terminal diseases. You find that their children need to be in school. They also pay bills, utility bills, rent, water, sewage, or garbage, whatever. They pay many of these things. But also there's an advice: well in service. What really are you doing well in service? Even when the law says, okay, don't go into some other businesses, what is your wife doing if you are within the military and she's a civilian? Support her so that on retirement there's something to fall back on. If you are a woman in the military and your husband is there, what are you doing to ensure that you have some joint activities? And I want to tell you that there are also instances where right from the word go, when they say next of kin, someone going to NDA will just write the name of an uncle because he grew up with an uncle, and by the time he has been commissioned, he's now working. It's still that same thing, next of kin, uncle. Now, on the event of any demise, you just see that the next of kin remains that uncle. Now, this guy is married, has a wife, has children, and there is something that has happened. He's no more alive. You go to file, next of kin is an uncle. An uncle is also in need, and now things will just go to that uncle. He grabs and neglects the families of the real owner. So there has to be a definite definition as to who is the terminal beneficiary of anything. So, and before people should retire to, there has to be some seminars, there has to be some workshops, open their minds for them, and that's why you have the Armed Forces Resettlement Center in Oshodi. I don't know what it is like with the immigration, customs, or other supportive agencies, including the police. So it leaves quite a lot to be desired. Thank God it's better today compared with those days, that people will have to travel from Calabar to Abuja, from Meduguri to Abuja, from Sokoto to Abuja. Now things are a bit better via these electronic ways of settling them. But all in all, a situation where again a fallen hero is there and the family is suddenly thrown out of the barracks is not the best of times for them. So in as much as you also have officers being taken care of in terms of accommodation just behind Mogadishu barrack, for example, in Abuja, and on the way to some other suburbs of Abuja, I think that other ranks should also be assisted, because it's just not enough for us to have this kind of badges. If you can see it, that you are supporting them, how much can this generate? So we need more of that money to assist the families.
All right. Thank you for that. Now let's look at the power sector, and it's on the front page of Vanguard, where we have Okonjo-Iweala coming to talk about decentralizing it. And yesterday we had the Minister of Power when he was defending his budget, and he said there is no end. There's no foreseeable end to grid collapse. I actually admire the fact that he was honest, stating several factors as to what is causing it, ranging from insecurity to poor funding. And we're also seeing that underfunding and huge debt root causes of power sector failure. So I want to get your thoughts on the power sector in Nigeria. And, is there, in your experience, do you see an end to this? What can be done differently? Where are we missing out on the power sector in the country? What's your thought on it?
Yes, I can see an end to it, provided Nigerians are serious and you stop corruption. Tell me the former Minister of Power or Energy that is not being propped. And Kashumbila Dam project that has been there for how many years? About 50 now. Nothing there. If some people needed money, all you needed to do was to just go into that sector and you make money for some groups. But why am I saying there is hope? Why is it that we cannot just simply take advantage of the solar energy? As we are today, virtually every office is looking for an AC. So if we can imbibe the use of the solar energy, why not? And I think it should be. Then why should the federal government be carrying excess luggage? Why should electricity be almost and entirely in the exclusive legislative list? This is not the military. This is not the police. This is not the currency. This is not foreign affairs that should be in the hands of the federal government. We're talking of electricity generating. Why are they not looking at the path energies to still do what they are doing with the geometric electricity in Owerri? They should look for people of that nature. And in the campuses, we need to have lecturers, universities that will just show their prowess in terms of research. Why are they still depending on NEPA? Look at the bills they are churning out every year. We cannot pay bills. Ordinary street lights that we should have via solar, you don't have them in campuses. So what really are we doing in terms of ensuring that? So yes, there is a way out if we are honest, and if we stop corruptive tendencies, and if you generate electricity, please, the buyers should buy. Transmitting, where are the cables? Those selling, can we stop all these estimated bills and some few people are just benefiting more than the communities. But
right.
again, let us look at this option, solar energy. Are there other options in terms of electricity generating? We go into that, we key into that, and I think that is doable if we change our minds too.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ben, for always showing up to provide those invaluable insights on these stories that made the front pages of Select National Newspaper. Thank you, and have a great day ahead.
Yes, Nigeria is ours to handle on the shoulders and move ahead.
Thank you very much. I like that final charge from you. And that's the much that time would permit us to accommodate today on our interesting lineup. I hope we have brought values to you and your household. And we hope that you can use some of those information, positively and act on some of the recommendations so that little by little and in our own piecemeal, we can make our environment better, and that way ultimately we can make Nigeria better. Let's do this again tomorrow. I'm Sunday Michael Ogu.
And I am Lilian Ogazi. We'll see you again same time tomorrow. But at the top of the hour, we have sports with Ajisha Fair, and we have business, and we also have sports. So just stick around. We have a lot, coming for you. But for now, bye for now. See you tomorrow.